Hi everyone, Angry Car Mechanic Foreigner here. I've been seeing a certain kind of complaint lately, namely that I'm supposedly deleting a lot of people's comments. I find this interesting because it's the same complaint I have with YouTube. Namely, that someone has been deleting quite a few of my comments. I can't even respond to people anymore, really, without it not being there when I check back 20 minutes later. One time I even had my sources removed. Tried posting the same comment probably 15 times before I just gave up and linked it a different way instead. So something certainly has been happening with YouTube. And so then I went into my creator settings and looked around a bit closer and noticed that they've added a section to the community filter page notifying you of specific potentially offensive comments. So this is a filter in addition to this already existing filter for potentially offensive comments, which I notice has been filling up more and more on its own lately. So we now have two comment filters for comments on YouTube, and one appears more clit-like in its sensitivity than the other. And so now, in order to give you a few examples of what I mean, I wonder if leftists say Angry Foreigner is lying about being a war refugee because he's white. I can just see leftists saying that. Yeah, that has happened. A lot of leftist Swedes don't believe that I'm an immigrant. Really shows how they exotified that term, doesn't it? Leftists are just retarded authoritarians at this point. So, yeah, I guess this is potentially offensive if you happen to have a certain political opinion. Isn't that the point with having different opinions? Here's another one that got trapped in the family-friendly filter. You damn racist. I gotta say, I feel pretty bad for people for not even being able to insult me anymore and call me a racist. I mean, that's their right to stupidity. Their right to exercise their freedom to make themselves obtuse. And so even I find this quite perverse. I don't want people to be censored when they're gonna insult me, because I need their engagement, okay? That's kind of how I made my channel big to begin with. Just do, you know, the right kind of clickbait, the rewarding kind of big clickbait, you know, the kind of clickbait where it's a good argumentation and good jokes, and the people who don't have a sense of humor, who have an underlying tendency for fascism, they end up serving a purpose too with their angry comments that send messages to the algorithm. But now it's all like, I mean, just look at one of my most recent uploads, the short one I did with Joe Biden, just talking about how he looks forward to white Europeans becoming a minority in America because diversity is so good. Too many comments getting trapped here, and it's worrying as most of these are quite, I mean, pretty harmless. Should the word jerk really qualify as hate speech? This is puritanical cable network standard. This is why people stopped watching TV. This guy's a freaking idiot. We've gotten to the point where Napoleon Dynamite is the modern equivalent of a hate crime. I do not consider this to be a healthy development of society.
Why don't you just shove a leash up my ass?
If I had to think of a comparison to what's been happening to YouTube, I describe, you know, there's this joke I used to do with how Sweden is like the movie Demolition Man. And that Sylvester Stallone, police Chad, gets frozen, wakes up in the future, everything's been pussified. It's a clean, sterile, pure surveillance society with machines everywhere that will give you a ticket if you cuss or express vulgarity. Not too far away from where we're heading.
Smoking is not good for you, and has been deemed that anything not good for you is bad, hence illegal. Alcohol, caffeine, contact sports, meat.
Are you shitting me?
John Spartan, you are fined 1 credit for a violation of the verbal morality statute.
What the hell is that?
John Spartan, you are fined 1...
And so for me, it's always been like watching Demolition Man. That experience for me has always been like, well, just watching what would happen if you would take an American cop and put him in Sweden. And so you see, now YouTube pretty much operates like one of those hush-hush no-no machines. The reason every YouTuber nags subscribe, like, and comment is because likes, comments, sharing a video to outside platforms, and subscribing all qualify as engagement. And engagement is really the key word for every YouTuber's day-to-day life nowadays. YouTube has made many changes to their website over the years, not least with algorithms and policies. Under the new system specifically, engagement will make a channel more visible and recommended to people in algorithms. But making the comment sections censor-friendly is then just another way to restrict engagement for channels that aren't 100% family friendly. I mean, let's face it, the only channels that won't see a problem with vulgar comments are food channels and Joe Biden's channel, because it turned all of its comment sections off after bad feedback for his presidency. Every other YouTuber just got banged, yet again, in yet another way by YouTube's creative gulag team.
Thanks a lot, you shit.
You are fine. For repeated violations of the verbal morality statute.
So much for the seashells.
So calling the president an idiot is now potentially offensive enough to just not give you a voice. Okay, but it wasn't when Trump was president? Is this because the Democratic Party has deep connections to YouTube? An hour-long video was leaked of a Google meeting right after a 2016 election showing the co-founder, the CEO, and other high-ranking Googlers being horrified that Hillary Clinton lost. None of them expected Trump to win, no more than the rest of smug liberal journalists did, so that's when they started discussing how to engineer algorithms to empower mainstream media journalism instead. And bit by bit, year by year, we ended up with a system where otherwise dying outlets became over 10 times more recommended, while YouTube stopped recommending YouTubers for breaking news altogether. So for example, a newsworthy item like Brexit will show 93% old media in its top 10 search results, while YouTubers only have a 7% chance of making the most relevant search results. It is no longer the audience and the people who get to rate and decide what is relevant, popular, and worth spreading. They're being told what to think. Literally speaking, the CEO of YouTube is fully aware that the site's viewers don't want Jimmy Fallon gangbanging their feed, and generally aren't interested in dying media and old-school television that they chose to abandon anyway. But Susan doesn't care about that. Susan told the New York Times it's important to force-feed YouTube users real information no matter what they think, instead of quote-unquote basement-dwelling YouTubers. On this note, it's worth mentioning Google was in the top 5 of financial contributions to the Joe Biden campaign 2020, so I guess that's where all that AdSense money is going. That also explains why YouTube recently got caught deleting 2.5 million dislikes from Biden's official YouTube channel in an attempt to make him look popular. Many have noticed his videos on average get more dislikes than likes, and comment sections were so critical they eventually turned them off altogether. To make matters worse, YouTube recently went out and said they're thinking of removing dislikes altogether, which really speaks to the censorship aura of fake success they're seeking to create. This was blasted by the site's users, who clearly don't want this, but clearly the site's upper management just want people to shut up and stop having opinions, because it's all about what looks good to a journalist. This all reminds us of the Wall Street versus meme stocks scandal recently. That wasn't even a scandal, it was just Wall Street getting beaten in their own game by working class 4chaners, some looking to pay back student loans. Google was not on the people's side here. They helped out Wall Street by deleting thousands of negative reviews of Robinhood, an app that essentially stole people's money. In addition to this, the Biden family has business ties with China, and for some mysterious reason, YouTube chose to auto-delete thousands of comments that are insulting of China's Communist Party. Isn't that, peculiar? How do you say that in Chinese? I've always said that censorship doesn't begin with you, nor does it end with you. But that family-friendly algorithms would take it this far, I think is a bit of a surprise for everyone. It just goes to show how unstable algorithms and machines are when they're based on purity and goodness. I'm pretty sure you could end the entire world if you programmed an AI according to family-friendly purity and made it president of the world. So what my point here is that Silicon Valley big tech are so progressive that they're now down with censorship. And it blows. It's not even about the shadow ban, even. It's about the overall direction of, holy shit, why did lousy parents and corporate interests have to ruin the internet? So follow me on far better platforms like Odyssey, I like that one. This is basically Library, but just their new updated version of it. I'm also on Rumble, Gab, Minds, Parler, and BitChute. If any of this is confusing to you, I'm gonna make a normie guide to all tech soon that's gonna be very user-friendly, and if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to my newsletter, which works way better than YouTube notifications. YouTube's notifications make a large percentage of people think they're getting all my videos when they're really just notified of a third a lot of the time. And if you want to support my channel, I'm pretty happy about crypto, but there's also other lucrative options in the video description, as always, where you can also find my sources. So yeah, no, I most likely didn't delete your comments. YouTube did it for me, because they are a parent, and as a YouTube creator, I am the worthless child. And this isn't a loving, abusive family, so rather than just getting the shit smacked out of me when I do something wrong, mommy just goes strangely cold and distant. What happened now?